Julie, thank you so much for coming on the program today. It's always good talking with you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So my colleague Jim Garrity and I have a book coming out in a few weeks called Heavy Lifting, which is all about the joys of adulthood. We did not get into a lot of the some of the not so joyful things about adulthood, like seeing your childhood movies and iconic figures debased and turned into these awful, awful things. You write about this at the New York Post. What have they done to the Muppets, Julie? What have they done to the Muppets?
It's so depressing. Yeah, so the Muppets has a new show. It premiered last week. I did not let my kids watch it while I was researching for this piece that I wrote. And I have to say, I was astonished at the plot and the adult content that has been integrated. Now, it's interesting. I have gotten a lot of flack for, poo-pooing on the Muppets. People saying, you're just a wet blanket and you don't get, that, the Muppets has always had adult content. And sure, even the 1979 version, there were a couple of, jokes that more adults would understand, but it was funny and witty and smart writing. It wasn't sexual, and it wasn't all about, relationship issues. The first thing you notice in the new sort of redone version of the Muppets is the plot is entirely about three relationships. Kermit's relationship with his new girlfriend. Yeah, get that, new girlfriend. Miss Piggy getting over the breakup with her and Kermit. I can't believe I'm even talking about this. And then Fozzie Bear's... Fozzie Bear's relationship with a human girlfriend. Okay, and it gets really uncomfortable. They make a lot of jokes that I think if kids don't understand, they'll ask questions. It's entirely adult. It's really only for adults now. The difference with the 1979 version is both demographics could enjoy it, both kids and adults. Now it's entirely an adult program. You know what it's like? It's like watching The Office or Parks and Rec or one of these shows. I mean, it's not people aren't naked running around. But with Muppets, it's the most adult content. It's a comedy, but it is all adult jokes. And it stars puppets. It's so weird. I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand what adult would be interested in this. But sorry, go on.
Well, I think the adults who wear underoos, perhaps, and who still have onesie pajamas. No, look, here's the thing. I was thinking about this. If this were on Comedy Central at 10:30 at night once a week, this would probably be seen as cutting edge and groundbreaking and, an adult reimagining of the Muppets. It's on at 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Eastern time?
My 8-year-old stays up till 8:30.
8 o'clock, which is Family Hour on ABC. Right. And it's the bleeping Muppets who are acting like bleeping Muppets. Bleeping Muppets. We don't... this is
Literally.
The problem here.
Yeah.
Is that part of it is... part of it really is what they've done to the Muppets, but part of it is whatever happened to Family Hour. This... and I'm not really that uptight. I'm really not. But this just seems, it just seems beyond weird. It seems like it is forced in a lot of ways, Julie. Like we're trying to make the Muppets edgy, and it just, you know what? It makes it sad. That's what it does.
It's sad. It's so stupid. I mean, honestly, the breakup scene, I cannot believe I just said that. The breakup scene between Piggy and Kermit. I mean, honestly, I talk about this. I can't believe it. The breakup scene between Kermit and Miss Piggy. So, think back to the 1979 version. Miss Piggy was always sort of violent. Remember, she used to throw Kermit around, and there's just always this hijinks and sort of this silliness. The breakup scene was, shockingly like an actual breakup scene. I think I've actually had that exact breakup before. It was kind of anticlimactic. Kermit sort of mumbles that yes, the breakup happened, and then Miss Piggy has this incredibly sad look on her face. There was nothing funny about it, and I'm not saying that everything has to be funny, but we're talking about the Muppets, and so I think references to dating problems, interracial relationships, marriage disappointment.
Interspecies relationships.
Interspecies relationships,
would be fine.
which also is strange.
Interspecies relationships still a little weird for family hour.
It was sort of they were so desperate to put in some sort of controversial subject, so they have this like. They have a nod to interspecies relationship, of course, trying to suggest this is the same debate for interracial marriages. I don't feel like that's all that controversial anymore. Again, it was they were trying so hard to be sort of controversial and hip and current that they really lost the magic and the sweetness and the innocence of the Muppets. I actually debated this on another show, and I cannot believe to this day. This was a couple days ago. I'm still in shock that this guy said the Muppets were never supposed to be a kids show. I mean, it's an outgrowth of Sesame Street. Of course, it's supposed to be a kids show. And yes, I understand if they're trying to attract an older demographic or let the parents enjoy it with the kids. Well, let me tell you something. After you're done watching a kids show with your kids and they turn to you and ask about infidelity and divorce and breakup, that's not fun. Parents can enjoy things without all the sex and without all the sort of innuendo. And they'd probably enjoy it a lot more if they didn't feel like they had to have a serious sit-down discussion about these issues with their kids after.
Oh, I'm sure that they would. Look, here's the thing. I agree that the Muppet Show was for adults, but I also watched it when I was 5. Yeah. And it was one of those shows that you could watch with your parents, right? You could sit down and who's the guest star going to be this week? There were jokes that sailed above my head that I didn't get until I went back and watched the Muppet Show with my kids on DVD a few years ago. And they were but here's the thing, Julie, they were kind of corny jokes, right? Yeah. They weren't edgy.
And
the Muppet Show was never really edgy.
And all of them are about every single joke directed towards adults or something that's a little bit more mature were sex related or relationship related. And again, the jokes in the other versions, they had some adult content, some jokes that would go over the heads of kids, but they're political or they made some sort of like current events comment, but they weren't all sort of sexual. And look, I'm not one to sort of join in on these. There's now a movement of some mothers to get it pulled off stations. I'm not sure about that because I think there's another way that we can voice our dissatisfaction with the Muppets, and that is, use the regulator that's attached to the television, and that's the remote control. Turn it off. Don't watch it. Advertisers are going to get this. The writers are going to get this begrudgingly, and hopefully there'll be some changes. So I just advise people don't watch it. It's not even. I will tell you this too. The writing was not good. It was not that funny. So, if you're going to send your kids to bed and watch it, don't bother. You're not, even as an adult, you're not going to enjoy it. And your kids certainly won't enjoy it.
Welcome to the 21st century. Kids, we're sending you to bed at 8 o'clock so Mommy and I can watch the Muppets.
Right.
You can't watch it, right? And there's Game of Thrones.
Right.
And there's the Muppets. So it's just not appropriate for kids, I'm sorry.
Right.
Weird. So as you flipped in disgust from watching the Muppets, you apparently flipped over to Discovery Channel, Discovery Family, where you caught the annoying ad, the same one ad that they are running every commercial break, it seems, for this new show. Yes. Babies behaving badly, right?
Yeah. This was my week of being a TV reviewer, a TV show reviewer, and I liked it. Man, you get paid to watch TV. But yes, so I watched this other show, Babies Behaving Badly, and look. I actually started the article. I talked about how I have recorded my own children's bad behavior. I have videos, and I usually share them with 2 people, my husband and my mom. And it's my attempt to get sympathy from them that I have to stay home with these children and deal with their temper tantrums. Now, Discovery Family has started this new show called Babies Behaving Badly, and it's where parents actually submit their children's video of them behaving badly. And this is really bad behavior. Some of it's cute. I get it. But some of it's really awful. And I just don't understand that kind of voyeuristic that attitude. I don't understand wanting to see that. I see it enough every day, and so I don't understand. And also, I don't understand the lack of respect for your own children, that you would film them and then submit it for public display. And also some of the videos, it's, why are you filming this? Put the camera down and be a parent.
Yeah.
I just, again, it's a trend that I find disturbing. I think that it's disrespectful to kids, and I think it also shows a real lack of parenting. This isn't something to laugh at. This is something to kind of be depressed about.
If you want your kids on TV, slap some makeup on them and put them in a beauty pageant. That's the proper way to put your kid on a reality show, right? Not.
Well, I don't know about that.
Julie,
I couldn't tell if you were serious.
No,
I was like, no.
No. Wait, no, I can't condone this at all.
Right.
Look, but I think part of what we are seeing here is that simple desire of, I'm on TV.
Exactly.
Right? And it doesn't matter what you're on TV for. It doesn't matter that, 15 years from now, your kid could look at you and say, oh, so guess what I just found on YouTube?
Right.
Why did you do this to me?
Right.
There are all kinds of things that don't come into play because we're thinking, well, we could be on TV, and that's really cool to be on TV. And this is, as you say, so there is the voyeuristic aspect of watching this, but there's also the exhibitionistic aspect of look at me or look at my awful kid.
Well,
I'm fascinated by you saying that. I'm sorry, just one more point real quick, because I'm fascinated by what you said about at some point, put the damn phone down. This is your kid. Who is flipping out and either needs you, let's stop with needs you to be a parent and not a videographer.
Yeah, and we see that kind of stuff. People are assaulted on the street, women are assaulted or men, or anyone is assaulted, and people will videotape it before intervening and trying to help. I mean, it's absolutely a disturbing trend. But this is the other thing I will say, and not in defense necessarily of this show, but sort of in defense of, I don't know, maybe viewers' interest in these shows. We live in a world now where, and I'm guilty of this. My Facebook page shows nothing but the good times. I post pictures of my kids doing these, wonderful things, and I'm a wonderful parent, and we go on a hike, and we do this, and a meal that I've made that's perfect, not showing the 5 meals the previous night that were so gross or whatever. So I think we live in this sort of perfect world that we've created for ourselves through social media, and I think a little bit of the popularity of these shows stems from people's irritation at this perfect life that we create for ourselves on social media, not showing the sort of dirty underbelly of what parenting's really like. So that might account for some of the popularity.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit because I do understand. I do think it's a real thing. There's this false life that often gets presented by people on Facebook. However, I would say that at no time really. In our culture, at least as long as I've been alive, have grown-ups walked around saying and displaying that awful underbelly of parenting, right? Like when you pull out the pictures of your kids or, look, we just got back from vacation. Oh, look, here's my kid having the meltdown, right? No, you take that picture out before you show people, right? We've never really wanted to say, look at my ugly side. That just is human nature that you don't want to do that.
But at no other time in history have people been exposed to your personal life. I'm friends with people in high school on Facebook that I wasn't that good of friends with in high school, and yet they see my life. And so, I think there's more viewing of people's fake existence. And so I think there's some reassurance. I'm just saying that from a parent's perspective, it is sometimes exhausting to see, oh gosh, everything's perfect and nobody has any struggles with parenting. And I'm not defending the show's existence, or the parents who actually film their kids, but I understand viewing those things and how people may enjoy feeling superior to these parents. Oh, I don't have those meltdowns. I don't have those problems with my kid. And again, I think part of it is just this perfect world that we set up for each other on Facebook and in Instagram and other social media sites.
I think it's more likely see, at least my kids aren't that bad,
right?
Than it is, oh, shoo, everybody's life isn't perfect. Because I think most of us understand Maybe not teenagers. I worry about adolescents, but
Yeah.
I think most adults understand nobody's life is perfect. It's just that people aren't putting the bad stuff up there on their
Right.
Facebook page.
Right.
Rarely do you say, I am in the midst of a major argument with my husband right now. Yeah, I mean, like, you're not going to tweet that stuff.
Yeah.
Most people aren't. I actually, now that I think about it, I do know a couple of people who would. But anyway, it's a couple of very interesting reads, Julie. I got to say, both at the New York Post and at Acculturated, we've got the links up on at Cam and Company.
Thanks.
And it's really interesting to read this cultural take. Listen, I appreciate you coming on the program, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Julie Gunlock from the Independent Women's Forum joining us here on NRA News, Cam and Company.